Hello everyone, in today's video, we're going to use Gronk, ChatGPT, and Google Gemini to see who can create the best platformer. We're going to start off with Gronk. First, we'll just tell it to make the best platformer ever, and see what it comes up with. Alright, Gronk is done writing the code. We'll use Visual Studio to run it. My first impression is that this looks quite basic, and definitely doesn't look like the best platformer ever. This movement also feels awful. I feel like a spaceship flying around. I'm also not sure how the scoring system works here. It looks like I have 3 lives, and I have to collect all the coins to complete the level. Let's go back and tell it to add a play again button real quick. Alright, now we can test out the game fully. As you guys can see, I'm basically just flying around at this point. Looks like Gronk only added in one level. Let's play it one more time and test that the death mechanic is working as well. So everything is working as intended except the movement. Let's go back and make some fixes. First of all, we'll tell it to change the movement, and we'll also make some upgrades by adding sound effects and more levels. Gronk is done writing the new code. Let's run it. Now I can't move at all. Nice upgrade, Gronk. We'll have to go back and fix this. Alright, I've made the changes. Let's test it out now. The movement feels a lot better, and the sound effects are working nicely. Let's try and get to the next level. It even added a nice sound effect for when you complete the level. Let's try and get to level 3. Alright, we're on the final level, and there are moving platforms now. Hopefully we can complete it without messing up. Yay, we made it all the way through, and our final score is displayed. The game worked well, but I don't know if it will win any medals for being the best platformer. Now let's switch over to ChatGPT. We're going to give ChatGPT the same prompt we gave Gronk, and see how well it performs. ChatGPT is done writing the code for the game. Let's run it. Wow, look at everything ChatGPT added. You can scale the game, you can even reset checkpoints. The starting screen also has all the controls. Let's test the game out to see how it feels. Looks like we ran into a bug. I keep respawning into the same mob again and again. But the game overall looks really good. When you jump, there are particle effects that come out, and it added sound effects without me telling it anything. I'm very impressed. The only downside seems to be that some of the jumps are impossible to make. Let's tell GPT to make those changes, and let's see if it can make the graphics look even better. Alright, it's done making the new changes. Let's run the code. Let's test out the game to make sure most of the jumps are possible to make. I know that must have been a tough watch for you guys, since I'm not the most gifted when it comes to platformers. But I'm glad you made it though. Now let's switch over to Gemini. We're going to give Gemini the same prompt we gave the other two, to see what it can come up with. Looks like Gemini is done making the game. Let's run the code. At first glance, this looks very similar to what Gronk made. Let's test out the game to make sure the movement is good, and the jumps are possible. The jumping mechanic is working well, but Gemini only added one level. Let's go back and make some upgrades. We'll tell it to add sound effects and more levels. We'll also tell it to make the game look better. Gemini is done making the changes. Let's run the code. Looks like it added a title screen with the controls. Let's test the game to see the new levels. The sound effects are working as intended, and it even added jumping particle effects like ChatGPT. That wasn't the best display of my skills. But anyway, it looks like level 3 is broken. Let's go back and fix this. Alright, third time's the charm, right? Wrong. Looks like the ground has turned into jelly, and we're falling right through. Let me fix this real quick. Alright, hopefully all our problems have washed away now. Finally, the ground is rock solid, and let's make our way to level 3 to make sure it exists. We've made it to level 3, now let's hope there are no new problems here because I don't know if I have the patience to fix them now. Oh no, I don't know if I'm just bad, but this jump looks like it's impossible to make. You know what, we're just going to call it there. It's clear that the winner for today's video is ChatGPT. It made the best game just on its first attempt, with little to no bugs. The graphics were by far the best, and it had a very nice user interface, which the other two didn't have. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, and subscribe if you want to see more.